How's everybody? Sure? Yeah. So I'm going to ask a question, an open-ended question. Anybody can chime in. So when you were young, and someone asked you, so what do you want to be when you grow up? What did you say?
Doctor.
What?
Doctor.
Doctor.
A lawyer.
Lawyer.
Radio DJ.
Same here.
So when they ask you that question, I don't think any of us responded by saying, you know, I want to grow up and I want to be a failure at everything I do. I want to have a miserable career ahead of me. No. We all had big dreams. And that's kind of what my topic is going to be on today. And this is another one of the things that I wrote in my book that I wanted to share with all of you. One is dream for the moment, prepare for the moment, seize the moment, and be known for the moment. First off, you're dreaming for the moment. I know a lot of us, as we get into life, when we were younger, we had big dreams. I had someone tell me when I was probably 13 or 14, it said, Joel, if you're going to dream, dream big. For all of us that have been around the block a few times, life gets in the way, starts beating us up, and we put our dreams up on a shelf. And we just let it gather dust. There's a movie some of you may have seen a long time ago. It's one of my favorites, Chariots of Fire. It's an old movie, but it came out in the early 80s. And in that movie, Eric Liddell says, God made me fast, and when I run, I feel His pleasure. To give it up would hold Him in contempt. And those of you who are in this room, you know what your gift is. Don't ever give that gift up. Don't ever give that gift up. The second one that you all are starting to take, what is this, the 4th, 5th class? That you're diving into is you're preparing for that moment. I will warn you though, as for those of you that have been around the block a few times, there are a lot of peaks and there are a lot of valleys. There's a lot of times when you just want to throw up your hands and say, I'm done. All of us have heard the term, you can't see the forest for the trees, okay? Actually, when we get caught up in our day-to-day circumstances, we can't see the trees for the bark staring us in the face. Forget about the forest. Forget about the big perspective, the big picture. So as you go through the preparation process, it is hard work. Those of us that play football, anybody play football here at high school? Okay. Remember those 2 days before the season would start? That was not fun, but it paid off come game time. One of the individuals that I've had the privilege of meeting and spending some time with, who I admire a great deal, is head coach John Wooden. John Wooden is 98 years old now. He is one of the most legendary coaches of any sport of all time. ESPN ran ESPN Classics runs all these countdown thematic shows, and they ran down like the top 50 greatest coaches of all time. He was number 1. He has a quote in here about preparing for a moment and dealing with adversity that he lives. Why do so many people dread adversity when it's through adversity that we grow stronger? And in the process of as you begin to prepare and begin to work, because there's some of you, how many in this room have full-time jobs? Okay? That in and of itself is going to require a lot of determination on your part to come in here after busting your tail all day long. And I got to go to school. Then the moment happens. The moment stares you in the face. That's when you got to seize it. Let me tell you a story about a guy some of you may have heard. His name is Billy Mills. Anybody heard of Billy Mills? He ran the 10,000 meters in the 1964 Olympics in Tokyo. In that race, he was running against 4 past or future gold medalists in that particular event. He barely made it to the Olympics to be on the American team. As they ran the final lap, he was nearly knocked down. He was behind by 20 to 30 yards. And out of nowhere, coming down the final straightaway, It was like a lightning bolt grabbed him by the pants and threw him, by the shorts and threw him down the track. And he won the gold medal. Okay? Now to put it into context for Billy Mills, he ran his personal best by 46 seconds. Okay? His personal best, if he would have run that day his personal best, he would have been 300 yards behind himself. All right, here's the next one. Enjoy the moment. This one's hard for me. It's like something good happens, something you've really worked toward. I enjoy it about an hour, and then I'm like, what's next? You know? I mean, that's silly. To work as long as you have for something, and then when something good happens, and then you don't enjoy it. You know? And that is going to be, that's always my problem. I may enjoy it for one afternoon, and then I'm like, okay, what's next? You know, it's like anything else. Your greatest strength is also your biggest weakness. It's a two-edged sword. And but enjoy the time. And in that process, when you have good things happen, and all of us have good things happen, one of the most important things we need to do is to not think of I and me and look at it as we and us. Because none of us make it anywhere without people helping. See, I'm a big believer of taking advantage of when you have success, to not make it all about myself, but I see it as a responsibility, that it becomes a bigger platform, and you start to give away your time. And as you go through this journey, down the many roads, ups and downs and the detours, those moments that come along, allow them to allow you to be known for that, but not in a selfish way. Because I tell you, being in radio as long as I've been in, and watching the people that had enormous talent, and they started having success, and they started thinking of themselves far more highly than they actually were. You know the old line about they became a legend in their own mind? They were miserable. Miserable. Because they lived themselves for them. And not using the success to make a difference and have an impact on other people. Those 5 areas are dream for the moment, prepare for the moment, seize the moment, enjoy the moment, and be known for it. About one moment at a time. So you're going to ask me, have I had my one moment in time?
Have you had your one moment in time?
No, I haven't. I truly believe I haven't. And that's part of what gets me excited and passionate about radio and what I'm doing. Because I'm looking for that one moment in time. After all these years. Because it still could be just around the corner. There's a book it was written about 20 years ago called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. He talks about thinking of one of those principles is thinking of the end in mind first. And when you think of the end in mind and keep that on the top of your mind during the process and stay laser focused on it, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It really does. I mean, when we wake up in the morning and we think we're going to have a bad day, guess what happens? That day sucks. It just does. I mean, so as we think, so as we become. And in the process of this, and some of you, like I said, have done a lot of different things in your life, a lot of ups and downs. But as you begin this process of training, and as you begin to zero in on one particular skill that you want to explore to the maximum, don't let the adversity get you down. Because persistence